meat.
Here on Mostly Superheroes, now talking to you about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. A movie is coming out on May 2nd, 2025, called Thunderbolts with an asterisk. What's that all about? It's a 2025 film, and it's starring Florence Pugh, David Harbour, Sebastian Stan, and a whole bunch more. And today I want to talk about the road to Thunderbolts. We're going to talk about all these characters, each one, briefly, one at a time, and what you need to know going in. We're also, of course, teasing out our screen and social, May 10th, 2025, at Alamo Drafthouse, St. Louis. See the movie with us. Tickets are on sale. That's Saturday, May 10th, movie at noon. Tickets are on sale right now. And yes, we got the big show. That's the big screen, the big theater, a 12 p.m. movie. Buy tickets now at mostlysuperheroes.com/events. Come for a movie and so much more. This is the extended movie experience. We're going to have prizes. We're going to have surprises for us as we're coming out of the theater. We'll be at the Alamo in the beautiful City Foundry. This is May 10th, 2025, movie at noon. Tickets are on sale. mostlysuperheroes.com/events. Come see it with us. Win some stuff. Have some fun. And again, lots of surprises in store for a fun Saturday at Alamo. Now, let's talk about the movie and hear a little bit from the trailer.
Let's talk facts. The Avengers are not coming. Who will keep the American people safe?
So you can do something about it now, or live with it forever.
This could get messy.
No shit. You thought you were gonna be some great saviors? You can't even save yourself.
We can't do this. No one here is a hero.
Lena, when I look at you, I don't see your mistakes. That's why we need each other.
Okay, that was really good.
We are the Thunderbolts!
Can't call ourselves that.
God, thank you.
This has makings of team that can rise to glory. Bring light from the darkness. This team can be the heroes on the Wheaties box. With a little giddy toy.
Thunderbolts with an asterisk. I am pumped for this movie. Yeah, we're counting it down. We can't wait. What's that asterisk mean? If you're asking me, I'm just saying, I think it's Dark Avengers. Like the beginning of the trailer right away just kind of says, let's talk about these characters in the movie and just kind of get right into it. And where do you know these characters from? And who are they? Where are they from? Like what titles in the MCU were they in? We have the complete timeline pulled up on Disney Plus. We're also on our Thunderbolts landing page at mostlysuperheroes.com. Just go there and search Thunderbolts, and you can get all these facts that I'm telling you about right now. So we have Valentina Allegra DeFontaine, played by Elaine from Seinfeld, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, and she was in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. She also was in Black Widow, in credit scene, I believe, and in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. Turns out she was the ex-wife of the agent that we met in Captain America Civil War that helped catch Bucky, and he's the friend of Wakanda. He was in Black Panther, and he got shot, and they took him back to Wakanda to heal him up. It's the guy that plays the Hobbit, and I'm stalling while I look up his name. Is, of course, Everett Ross, played by Martin Freeman. That's right. And she really gets her introduction. She says, people call her Val or Valentina, and she gets her introduction in Falcon and Winter Soldier, where she really kind of picks up from the ashes John Walker, aka U.S. Agent, who's also in Thunderbolts. This is Wyatt Russell. This is Kurt Russell's son, and he was in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Basically spoiler alert for the entire MCU. And he was the Captain America that picked up the shield and was brought in by the U.S. government when Sam Wilson, Anthony Mackie, said he wasn't going to take the shield after Captain America, Steve Rogers, retired. Steve Rogers retired at the end of Endgame. He gives the shield to Sam. Sam says at first, I just don't want it. Here comes John Walker, this kind of smug, arrogant, kind of unstable soldier that gets the shield, becomes Captain America. It's short-lived. He ends up having a huge episode and kills in front of a lot of civilians. And so it kind of loses all his accolades. And Valentina, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Computer says it's Julia Louis-Dreyfus. So you tell me. She picks up John Walker and says, listen, you've got this super soldier serum in him because he did take it. And she gives him like a suit. He gets a new shield. And now he's U.S. agent. The suit is like black. Okay. So that's kind of their background. And, back to what I was saying originally is in this trailer, Val says the Avengers are not coming. And so that's where I'm kind of thinking this asterisk is going to play a big part. Thunderbolts, the only context for Thunderbolts that people have really right now is this recent movie with Captain America, Brave New World with Thunderbolt Ross, formerly played by William Hurt in all the movies, now played by Harrison Ford. Like that's our most recent reference to this term Thunderbolts. So where's that coming in? I guess maybe we'll find out. But there is a storyline in the comics, which, Scotty's told me about. I don't know this off the cuff, but Dark Avengers is a whole group of people. So I can kind of see this being, if the Avengers aren't around, maybe they'll become like Dark Avengers or something. Going character from character, who else do we have? Of course, Sebastian Stan coming back, Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, titles that you can keep in mind for Bucky. I mean, he's been in the MCU for such a long time now. I mean, you meet Bucky for the very first time in the first Captain America, the first Avenger movie, and then he's really like the sole focus of the Winter Soldier. He plays a big role in Civil War. It's kind of the sole focus of that as well. And then, fights in Infinity War, living in Wakanda, and then the Falcon, the Winter Soldier. That's what you want to see most recently. And then, we've said spoiler alert, there is a big cameo of his, very short-lived, in Captain America Brave New World. So really the most recent thing is the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Kind of catch you up on Bucky Barnes, and that's kind of what we're doing here. So if we're skipping ahead, it's like, he was struggling with his demons. He was a assassin for all those years. He got himself right through therapy and kind of working with Sam in this show, and they kind of helped each other see that, his problem was he was trying to do kind of like just kind of like any kind of program that's similar to Alcoholics Anonymous, or he was doing amends, like trying to make amends. And he was going around trying to make people feel better that he had hurt. And that was really the lesson, was that he was doing it for the wrong reasons. Sam explains that service is doing something for someone else because it'll make them feel better. So I don't know. Then we see Sebastian Stan, Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier, or the White Wolf. If you're in Wakanda, that's what they were calling him. He's a senator in Brave New World. Like, just going full recent spoilers. So what is that? Because in this trailer for Thunderbolts, he seems to be kind of separate from the rest of the crew, and he's washing his arm in his dishwasher. So like, what's he up to? He seems kind of active as a combative agent again. Like, he doesn't seem like a senator to me per the trailer, but that doesn't really necessarily mean anything. So that's Bucky Barnes. Let's see. Let's do Ghost next. This is Ava Starr. She's played by Hannah John Kamen, and you recognize Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp, the one and only, I believe. And her whole thing was her dad was also into quantum research. She got blasted by some energy. Her body began phasing, and she couldn't control it, and she was like gonna die. And another quantum scientist named Bill Foster, played by the infamous Lawrence Fishburne, who you'll recognize, of course, from The Matrix, played Bill Foster in Ant-Man and the Wasp. He kind of took her under his wing, and they helped her get healed. He had a machine that helped her. And then, long story short, she ends up kind of getting healed by Janet Van Dyne. Hank Van Dyne, this is Ant-Man, like the original Ant-Man. His wife came from the quantum realm because she was there for 30 years, and they ended up rescuing her at the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp. And she heals Ghost with her powers. It's all, and then like they figured out like how to heal her. So I'm thinking in this one, it's going to be like her powers. She's on this like Thunderbolts type Suicide Squad team, which if you haven't picked it up yet, that's kind of what this is. This is like Marvel Suicide Squad. And we'll just get to see her kind of have her powers in control. Okay, these last three, we saved them all for the last because they're all related to one movie really in particular. I mean, definitely one of them's been in more than that, but let's just talk about each one. We have Taskmaster. This is Antonia Dreykov, the daughter of the Dreykov that ran the Red Room that we always hear about from Natasha Romanoff, the Black Widow, Scarlett Johansson. You know, she's always in these movies. She always referenced this big bad guy, and he is his daughter, and she ends up being Taskmaster, which, you know, you find out in this movie Black Widow that Taskmaster can kind of copy any move, but she was completely brainwashed until at the end of the movie she gets healed. So in this movie she's going to be totally healed, ready to go, and maybe just in control of her powers. Does she still have the Taskmaster power and be able to copy people's moves? I think so, but we'll have to see. Also from Black Widow, we also have the Red Guardian, Alexei Shostakov, played by David Harbour, who you'll recognize from Stranger Things. And he is really the adoptive father of Natasha Romanoff, Black Widow, as well as Yelena, our last character, and really probably the main character of this movie. Yelena Belova, played by Florence Pugh, sister of the late and great Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, who did pass away at the end of Endgame. And, you know, if you've seen Black Widow, this is where you really get to know these three characters. You know, the relationship with Yelena, really learning that, we see a story of where they got to be together, her and her sister, one last time with her dad, the Red Guardian. The Red Guardian was one of the original super soldiers. He has the serum. He's really strong. Says he's fought like the Winter Soldier before. That should be a payoff in this movie. Like, they'll probably have some banter, and there's also a great What If episode where the Red Guardian and Winter Soldier teamed up. So that really kind of gets you ready for this movie, Thunderbolts, as well. And Yelena, was coming into her own as her own Black Widow. She was going around the world and healing Black Widows from the red mist. And then we also got her in the Hawkeye show, as she was thinking that Hawkeye, Clint Barton, killed his sister. She didn't understand how she died, as we all learned in Endgame, sacrificing herself to get the Soul Stone. Like, she didn't know about that, couldn't comprehend it, kind of blamed Clint, kind of resolved all that. And then ended up working closely with Kate Bishop, the new Hawkeye. And we also know that new Kate Bishop in Hawkeye was recruited at a end credit scene of the Marvels by Kamala Khan, Miss Marvel, who they just mentioned is in LA in the recent Daredevil show. So we might have a West Coast Avengers, Young Avengers teaming up. Could that tie in to this Thunderbolts movie? Maybe in some way. I think you already got a lot of characters at play, but maybe an end credit or something where Yelena is in communication with Hawkeye, young Hawkeye, Haley Steinfeld, Kate Bishop. So those are the characters. Those are the movies. And, we kind of rattle off the titles that you might need to keep in mind. And yeah, I mean, it's a lot to kind of comprehend. I think they have a lot to achieve, but at the heart of it, you kind of have all these anti-heroes that are teaming up. And, in a Suicide Squad type fashion, you have a lot of great character development, a story that kind of motivates the team to work together. So in that essence, maybe it'll motivate the audience just to kind of get behind them. And man, the one character we didn't talk about that we have to plug, Sentry. This is going to be the introduction of a character called Sentry, played by Lewis Pullman, and by the looks of the trailer, might be the antagonist in this film, or at least a problem that they have to deal with at some point. And he looks super powerful. It looks like he's wiping people out just by kind of putting energy toward him with his hand. It looked like he threw Red Guardian through a window and was he was just pointing his hand at him. And Sentry, according to Marvel.com, possesses remarkable levels of superhuman strength, speed, and intelligence, as well as invulnerability and enhanced senses and energy projection abilities. And Scotty Scoop on the podcast has said this is easily one of the most powerful people we've seen in the Marvel Universe, and we've heard that around the other conglomerates out there as well, the IGNs and Screen Rants. I know that this is something that's been circulating. This guy's apparently crazy powerful. We're bringing in a new character, and we'll see what Sentry's all about. In terms of my anticipation for the film, I can't wait. This looks really fun. It looks like a breath of fresh air. I am nervous coming off of Captain America Brave New World that just felt like a bit of a mess for me, and I'm excited to see it come to Disney Plus to give it a rewatch to see if that was just the day or what's going on. And that was a movie that had too much going on. And this movie is kind of set up for that with all these characters. So I have high hopes, and I remember Deadpool and Wolverine, and I think that there's good people at play for these movies. So I wish them the best of luck, and we're going to see it May 10th at our Screen and Social, and you can see it with us. A 12 o'clock movie on a Saturday with lots of fun in store following the film. So go check it out at mostlysuperheroes.com/events. We'll see you for Marvel Studios' Thunderbolts, that's with an asterisk, in the theaters at Alamo Drafthouse St. Louis. Go watch the trailer, some exclusive footage, as well as a special reel of following the cast of Thunderbolts appearance at CinemaCon just recently. And they announced that tickets were going on sale, and there was a special featurette. We've got that linked up along with all the stuff we talked about in today's episode on our Thunderbolts page. Just go to mostlysuperheroes.com, search Thunderbolts. We'll see you there. There's a lot happening on the podcast, obviously, but we're really excited about it, and it's all because of followers like you, and our audience is growing, and we're seeing people write in and tell us what they're thinking, and we're seeing a lot of community engagement. So, Mostly Superheroes, I'm your host, Logan, from Scotty Scoop, Andy the Giggler, Carrie Clark, Sam the Sleeper, and I'm your host, Logan. We'll see you next time on Mostly Superheroes. Be sure to like and subscribe in your podcast app and on YouTube channels, and tell a friend. Leave a review. It really helps us out. We'll see you next time. Take it easy. Mostly Superheroes is proud to be funded in part by our sponsors. Mostly Superheroes is funded in part by paying patrons who receive early, ad-free, and exclusive episodes. Subscribe at mostlysuperheroes.com/support. Thank you for supporting your favorite independent podcast. Mostly Superheroes is an independent podcast owned and operated by Carrogan Ventures in St. Louis, Missouri. Hosted by Logan Janis, Andy Hunn, and Scott Swearingen. Brand and creative by Carrie Clark Design. Music by Audionautics. Learn more at audionautics.com. Find more at mostlysuperheroes.com.